Afghanistan and Nigeria are two countries which should not be compared, at least ordinarily. They are so different. Afghanistan is a theocratic state with a population that is less than a quarter of Nigeria's population. Yet the two countries compete favorably in three areas: religiosity, corruption, and terrorism. Today we are taking a look at the similarities and differences in the two countries. My name is Rumande Shawulu, and this is The Other Side. Let's take a look at the social indicators of the two countries. Nigeria's population is estimated to be 230 million, while Afghanistan is only 43 million. Both countries have very young populations. The median age in Afghanistan is 18.4, while Nigeria is 18.6. Life expectancy in Nigeria is curiously shorter than in war-torn Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, life expectancy is 64.5, while Nigeria is shorter by 8 years, that is 55.8. Nigeria beats Afghanistan in literacy rate, 62% to 37%, and 54% of Nigeria's population lives in urban centers, while in Afghanistan, only 27% live in urban centers. In terms of Human Development Index, Afghanistan sits on 0.478, while Nigeria is just a little ahead of 0.535. How about the economic indicators? The indicators show a complex story of similarities and differences. Both countries are mono economies largely, though. Afghan depends largely on taxes on opium, while Nigeria depends on oil. Inflation and unemployment are curiously lower in Afghanistan than in Nigeria, but in all other indicators, Afghanistan is nowhere near Nigeria. For instance, the Afghan GDP is a mere $14 million compared to Nigeria's, by some estimates, $390 billion. And the World Bank estimates Afghan poverty to be at 72% compared to Nigeria's 40%. Of course, Nigeria has an inflation rate of 33% compared to Afghan's 10%. Both countries are highly religious, sometimes violently religious, and are known for violent religious conflicts. In Nigeria, for instance, between 75 to 90% of the people claim they pray daily, while in Afghanistan, it is a staggering 96 to 99% in some surveys undertaken by some international organizations. 97% of Nigerians insist that religion is very important to them, and in both pre- and post-Taliban Afghanistan, 99% say religion is important. Gallup poll of 2019 showed that weekly mosque attendance in Nigeria is 67%, and 89% as well as mandatory in Afghanistan. In its 2023 report, the United States Commission for International Religious Freedom insists that religious freedom are worst in Afghanistan and declining in Nigeria. This was also repeated in the reports of 2024 and 2025. It is instructive to note that in the 2015 Pew reports, 89% of Nigerians prayed daily, and this, according to the Gallup poll, has declined to 75%. On the other hand, in Afghanistan, 94% claimed they prayed every day in 2017. Now it is 100% because of enforcement by the government. Unlike Nigeria, where different religions practice side by side, in Afghanistan, 99% of the Hindu and Sikh population fled the country in 2013, while Christianity has been driven completely underground. Nigeria ranked 6th most religious country globally in 2023, and Afghanistan is now excluded from some ranking because of the Taliban policies. In the area of corruption, the data for 10 years, 2013 to 2023, show that Nigeria had been doing particularly very bad. There was an improvement, though, between 2016 and 2018 under President Muhammadu Buhari, but all these gains were lost between 2021 to 2023, and Nigeria went back to becoming one of the countries that the perception corruption was really looking very bad. Nigeria, however, in this area has consistently performed slightly better than Afghanistan. And now the Afghans are not even being ranked because it has shut its door to any form of oversight, and nobody can tell what is happening within the country. Another area where the two countries, that is Nigeria and Afghanistan, have been competing is the area of security and terrorism. Nigeria's worst years were in 2014, 2015, and 2016, where it ranked first globally. In two of those years, it shared the first position with Afghanistan. And then in one of those 3 years, it was the first and pushed Afghanistan to the second position. However, in the 10 years that we surveyed, that is between 2013 to 2023, Afghanistan got the first position in terms of terrorism 9 out of the 10 years. It shared 2 of the years with Nigeria, and Nigeria in one of those years pushed Afghanistan to the second position. Some factors are common to the two countries, and these factors include weak governance, extremist ideologies, regional instability, and terrorism. Unlike Nigeria, in Afghanistan, the main terror group, Taliban, took over government after a disgraceful withdrawal by the United States military, during which 13 U.S. servicemen lost their lives. As a matter of fact, Nigeria's terror groups appear to receive inspiration from the Taliban. When Boko Haram or some extremists who were part of Boko Haram started in Yobe, they called themselves the Taliban. It is rather unfortunate that we are comparing Afghanistan with Nigeria. Afghanistan is in Asia, far away, with a very small population, a land that is full of deserts, a land that is not as rich as Nigeria. But where is it that statistics from Afghanistan are being compared with the ones from Nigeria? Simply because of the rise of terrorism. Terrorism in Nigeria that appear to have received some inspiration from Afghanistan, that has resulted in several parts of Nigeria growing or moving towards the nature of the way Afghanistan today is. That is, several territories being ruled by different types of groups, groups that are violent, groups that do not actually have loyalty to the central system, and groups that, if left on their own, could turn this country, could turn Nigeria actually to what people are saying Afghanistan is. And what are the factors that we listed that are common in the two countries? First of all, we have the case of weak governance, that government in Nigeria operates largely in the urban centers. As a matter of fact, most rural areas, most local government areas do not even have the presence of the police. As a matter of fact, in those days when we were growing up, we were told that in the rural areas, the only time you saw government was when taxpayers or taxmen went into the rural areas to exact tax from the people who were living in the rural areas. And unfortunately, this appears to be the case, and many people are running away from the rural areas and coming to live in the urban centers, and increasing the pressure that the urban centers have, and also increasing the pressures on food supplies, because most of the food that is grown in Nigeria is food that is produced by subsistence farmers who can no longer stay in their farms because of the activities of Boko Haram or some violent non-state actors who are taking over the territory. We also have the challenge of ethnicity and religious differences in Nigeria. The same thing with Afghanistan. Afghanistan has gone so far that it has driven out all other religions apart from Islam, its own brand of Islam. And of course, if you look at what some of these violent non-state actors are doing, in several of the rural areas that they attack, they destroy churches and symbols of worship by other religions. They are so antagonistic to religions that are not their own. And talking about ethnicity and tribalism, part of the problems and what actually helped the Americans when they went into Afghanistan was the existence of different tribes and groups and clans which had loyalty to different institutions and bodies, even to groups or ideologies outside of Afghanistan. A problem that is rearing its head in Nigeria today, that people in Nigeria are pledging allegiance to forces outside Nigeria. And so if Nigeria continues on this trajectory of rural areas being taken over by violent non-state actors, time will come, and we pray it does not come, that Nigeria may be another Afghanistan. I hope that Nigeria is not on its way to Afghanistan. My name is Romande Shaulu. This is The Other Side. Please like, share our videos, subscribe to us, and we want to hear from you. Why is it that Nigeria, a big, prosperous country that could be a world economic giant, be compared to a country of just 40 million people, a country that has been consistently in war like Afghanistan? Why should life expectancy in Afghanistan be higher than life expectancy in Nigeria? We'd like to have your comments.